What's up, Blue Chips? How we doing this morning? Man, I look pale. I'm still recovering, but I am feeling a lot better today. Let's see what we have for Taco Tuesday. Believe in yourself and inspire others to do the same. Let's get to it. How are we doing Tuesday morning, January 28th? I am feeling refreshed. Took another melatonin last night and got to bed a little early. I went up a little before 10 o'clock, but ended up falling asleep probably a little after 10 o'clock. You know, got to play on the phone for a couple minutes. So I got two stocks up this morning. Really just one DLPH. It's going to be really the only one that we look at. It's the top gapper this morning, 86 mil on the float. Made a nice move here in the morning. As you can see, there was nothing. I don't know if this was earnings or not. You guys have to let me know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I just kind of trade the chart. We're right at the 200-day moving average on the daily. It's sitting there at 1586, 1568 it looks like, actually. So kind of keep an eye on what this wants to do here at the open. And Freak, what's up, man? Tom, what's up? D's nuts. Put that in there just for you. You know that. But other than that, I don't really have too much. E-Man, thanks for subscribing. I think I finally fixed the subscription thing. So if you guys do end up subscribing and you haven't already, maybe it'll actually go through on time. Streamlabs just hates me for some reason, but we're figuring it out. Every day we try to put a little bit of time into that to kind of figure out what's going on. Ben, what's going on, man? Every time I read your last name, it makes me think of the Mighty Ducks. I don't know if you've ever seen those movies, but Charlie with the triple deke. That's all I got to say. Let's see what else we got. 18. So, yeah, Brian saying DLPH 18 should be in the back of your mind if it is a fight. We wouldn't be interested in this unless it went through 17 anyway. We'd be looking for that extension from this high it set here in the pre-market at 1631. So we'd want it to go through 1650 and at least get up there towards 17 if we were interested anyway. So we'll kind of be keeping an eye on that. If you guys watched my video from last night, I know it took a little bit longer. Just to be upfront with you guys, I actually was approached with from a video editor, and I've been using them over the course, I started using them on Sunday. And it's something that I'm actually highly interested in. It really allows me the time to spend more with my kids, focus more on my trading, et cetera, et cetera. So just kind of curious if you guys mind it coming out a little bit later for something that seems to be a little bit better quality. I know yesterday I was trying to work with them to kind of understand what I'm shooting for as far as what I want the video to be based around. So hopefully today's video will be a little bit better in that aspect. Although I did like some of the things that they did, just finding random bits throughout the stream that I never would have thought to put into the video. And it kind of worked out. It was more of like when I was answering questions from you guys during the stream and stuff like that to kind of help the people that don't tune into the stream. So it was pretty beneficial, I think. But I know that the main purpose of those videos is really to kind of capture the live trades. And if anybody is really curious about the FAQ type stuff, they can go watch the live stream itself after it processes. So you like Goldberg? Yeah. I like the very first movie where he's so scared to get hit by the pucks, so they like tape him into the net and they just unload on him, and he's just like, oh, this ain't that bad. This ain't that bad. And then they go to leave the rink and he's still taped to the goalpost. I love them. I could probably watch that movie in my head without actually watching the movie. But okay, we got about 20 seconds here until the bell. I'm going to actually get the bell on time today. OBCI. I'm going to also try to keep up just my main chart. OBCI, I'm not interested in that. That looks like a low floater, and it already gave back pretty much all of its move. But I'm going to try to just keep track of what chart I'm on, and we'll go from there. So there's the bell. See what DLPH wants to do here at the open. We're obviously keeping our eyes on everything else as well. Got ENDP up on my other chart as well. Did you pinch your finger? You're okay. Hopefully that Peppa Pig or whatever that is playing isn't too loud in the background. Everything moving down right now is a little bit low float. Everything moving up right now is a little bit of a low floater. I should do chart one with the scanner. Sorry. So I meant to have that up, but I forgot. Oh, I still hit the wrong one. Whoops. There we go. Just kind of waiting here. DLPH isn't really doing anything. That XLRN from this morning, it's kind of an interesting one. The range on that is just crazy. I'm not even really sure how to tackle that. I mean, the move started down near 50, and it's just chilling up at 80 after it went up towards 100. DLPH looks like it's just falling over at the moment. Not exactly what we were looking for. That's crazy. XLRN is getting tagged. Here we go. PII. Man, another one. That's just expensive. These are hitting the scanners 20 plus, and they're $80, $100 stocks. Absolutely nuts. I just don't even know what kind of share size I would take. I mean, I do, but I would have to take like 10 shares to start this, which I mean, I could. What's the spread? The spread is 81 cents. Yeah, I can't play that. It's like as much as I want to. Look at this resistance up here around 104. Tons of resistance at 104. I know you guys can't see what I'm looking at, but it's PII. DLPH just not doing what we wanted. And there goes PII right back down. That's crazy. Where did I just type that? Apparently I'm not typing anywhere. So I'm looking at the other scanner now because there's really nothing going on that I can see as far as possible shorts. INO I'm looking at to the downside here. Love to see this down towards 5. 5.70, 70 cents. 75. Just watching INO here, seeing if it wants to continue down towards these pre-market lows of around 513. TEN, we've actually, oh, of course, put it in the wrong spot. I don't know why that was like that. I'm so confused right now. What's going on here? My charts are not linked. What is going on here? The heck? I don't know what just happened there. INO trying to go back towards low intraday here. ACMR. I didn't even see that one. It's a low float. Come on, INO. That's kind of what we're looking at here. APT, yeah, I don't think we have shares on APT. Or actually we do, but it's SSR. Actually wouldn't be interested in that. But it does on the daily look like it's a little weak. RMBS. What's the price on that? $14.90. Volume on this isn't very good. It's actually up near those all-time highs, 1509, or is it all-time highs? Nope. So 1538. So point moves at 50. See if we can't get a push up over, or actually here, INO is actually kind of doing what we wanted it to do here. Wanted a little, dang it, wanted a little bit more there. Wanted down towards the 510 area. Yes, bud. What's wrong? Oh, I see it. Go ahead, go get it. I know, bud. I can't get down and play right now. You have to give me a few. Daddy's working. It's okay, bud. So RMBS didn't quite give us what we were looking for. We wanted it to get through 15 there. Apple. So a little frustrating here, not really getting entries that we would typically want. A little sad here, I guess, on INO. Wasn't really paying attention to it. Was looking at RMBS, looking for that to pop up on no volume, which is a little frustrating. I wanted a little bit more out of INO anyways, because I was basically what I was doing is looking at this key area here, and then if it wanted to blow through that, I'd look for my ad under 5. Like, that was the trade idea. So we didn't quite get that. I didn't want to get too far away because I don't want to hit my max loss on the pop through 5. I'd rather be able to give it a little bit of room there to pop through 5 so that we can get our ad. So we'll see what it wants to do here. It might actually still give us a chance. But I'm not as interested now. I'd most likely want to... I mean, man, look at that. It's actually got a lot of support there. I'm looking at the daily now. That's a pretty big gap after it breaks that area. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll stay away from that. RMBS isn't really doing what we wanted it to do. CLSD, I know we don't have shares there. ARMP, no shares on ARMP. That's a low floater, which is moving. Yeah, see, we dove through here. Actually went down to 503. Sorry, I'm being a little bit of a mute this morning. Really not much to look at. It's like I want to play INO here, but I'm just a little scared of that gap. I mean, I'm not scared of it, but you usually see when something gets into a gap fill, it tends to try to fill that gap. So it's kind of why I'm staying away from it. Man, my chat bot is like on crack this morning. See if we can get that five test here. It's what we were looking for, just because it had already had a nice retrace there. So when it came back down, we weren't interested where we were before. And obviously we were right, because if we would have got in looking for it to bounce off of that 512 area again, look, it would pretty much went right through and never really got back above. Because again, you know, we've seen that happen over and over and over again. So you start to take notice. Although it does seem to keep getting bought up here. And there's a big seller there, dropping it down towards 5 again. Is it too much to ask for? We just want this thing to go through 5, right? Trying to be patient with this. Let it do its thing. There's really nothing else to look at. Everything is low floats kind of going off this morning. Pretty much everything. Everything's under 30 mil that I'm looking at. I mean, you would think this thing is a 5 magnet at this point, so it's kind of what I'm waiting for. Of course, my son's making the pooping noises. You guys seeing anything? Seeing anything that I might be missing? I don't feel like I'm missing anything. There's just really not too much going on. It's crazy how much this NIO stock gets traded every single day. There went dog food everywhere. There's a little bit of a squeeze. Never really got our five test. Was not expecting 5 to hold a support, let alone it didn't even get to 5. 502 was the lowest it got. There is a huge order sitting here on NIO. Look at this thing on the level 2. It's 470,000 shares just chilling there at 408 on the ask. And obviously there's more than that. Here's 26,000 more. 8,200. That's crazy. And it just, did it get pulled? I guess it got pulled. There's no way. Well, I guess it could have all went through, because look at that volume bar. That, I mean, that's the kind of share size that's going through on these on this ticker, NIO. That's crazy. Kind of a crappy morning. Not gonna lie. I don't even really feel like I missed anything. That's kind of the worst feeling, right? Is when you're like, what's going on? And then you don't even feel like you missed anything. It's just slow. Here goes INO trying to get down there again. MGEN trying to make a move for being a lower priced stock. Not really interested there. CTSO. Nothing really going on there. That's bouncing off the bottom. Everything's just... This is frustrating. I mean, if I had the float filter right now, none of this would even be up on my scanners. So a little frustrating. Yeah, you're right. A lot of people sitting on, especially with all the big earnings this week. I want to see Tesla tomorrow. Yeah, Tesla's earnings tomorrow is going to be interesting for sure. I'm definitely going to be watching that. Get my popcorn out. But yeah, it feels like a lot of people were just kind of sitting on their hands, just like you said. Not a lot really moving. I think the coronavirus, just everything going on with the impeachment trial, earnings coming up. It's like everyone's like, I don't really know what to do here. And we're kind of just sitting in limbo. I mean, I feel like the only one... No, I mean, DLPH didn't do what we wanted it to do. What was the other one? Was it Vivo? No, that was from yesterday. Vivo, that's kind of a... I don't know, that just looks like it's grinding lower and lower. Oh, XLRN was the other one, the real expensive one. Oh, no, that wasn't the one that popped. PII, that was it, PII. That was the only one that really did anything to what we would normally look at, but we're never going to play this, right? The spread was 81 cents when we looked at it, and it's a $100 stock. So it's, I mean, we could obviously play it. It's all relative. Just have to adjust the share size, but it was still like 81 cent spread. Get out of here. CGC. We don't have shares on CGC. Also not seeing it on the scanner as well, which is interesting because I know that would pop up. They always have volume. What's up, JK? How you doing? Yeah, CGC would have actually been pretty perfect. Let's see, we would have looked to get in 23, 30. That would have been tough. Probably would have started this with 100 shares. Would have been looking for this to kind of slow down. It actually went a little further. We probably would have started this in the 30s, so we would have been positive already. We only got 100 shares. We would have needed 25 cents, so we would have been good there. At least it's looking that way. Whoa, there's the dip on INO. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected because of this gap. 470. We're going to start INO here. Got 495. We're going to look to add down towards this 475 area if it wants to get there. It kind of felt like it might have tried to shoot back up through 5 there for a second. That's why we kind of jumped the gun. It's kind of where we were looking to get in anyway. I mean, obviously down here would have been better. Or add in there 477. Try to do some quick math real quick while this is going. 477 plus 495, 972 divided by 2, 486. So we'll have 150. So 486 minus 17. 469 would be our stop. It's not a very big stop if we were to get hit there. Which would mean it's not the best entry, but we'll see. Which I guess for... Where am I typing? 486 plus 0.17503. See what it wants to do here. Got our order sitting there at 77. $82. All right, so instead of looking to add here, let's see what it wants to do right here, and then we're most likely going to just risk off at 82. don't hit your head, silly. All right, so we're going to risk off 82 here. Right, low a day is 82, so we're going to go 81. And our average is at 494, 74, 5 plus so 512. I don't know why this says short. Let's try to stop. I don't like that it's doing that. Let's try it down here. Range, low price, 481. 512, there we go. So, all right. So we got a range order in. Either it works or it doesn't. We're just risking off low a day, and 512 would give us our profit target. So basically just looking for this thing to pop through 5. And if it doesn't want to do that, then we might get stopped out if it wants to go low a day. But obviously if it consolidates here and goes low a day, then, oh well. Wasn't the trade that we wanted. There's really nothing else moving. NNVC. Yeah, that wasn't really something that we were looking at this morning. Naturally, no real shares. CMEG doesn't suck. I tell you, these low floaters, you're not always going to find shares. CPRX. I feel like we looked at that one earlier. What did CGC end up doing? Yeah, CGC would have been a good one, but unfortunately we didn't have any shares there. Looking like INO might come down and get us. But again, we're just accepting the risk today, right? We got into the trade, we'll accept the risk. I believe 494. Yeah, it won't even actually be a full 1R loss there if we get stopped out, but there's no reason to wait it out. We actually might get a little slippage, so it might be, but we'll see. But if it wants to go low a day from here, it's obviously not something we're interested in. Even though it might be a fake out, I wonder, let's see, 494 minus 17, 477. So it'd be hard because it might bounce right off of 477. 470 is the high there. Who knows? I'm not going to risk it. It's most likely, unfortunately, now that I'm looking at it, it might be a fake out. If it might dive down to 470 and then start its retrace. But who knows? Maybe we'll look to get back in if that's the case. When I deposit in the CMEG, does the bank have to be under my name? I would assume so, yes. Excuse me. I was talking about HOG. I didn't even see HOG this morning. Yeah, I wouldn't have played this anyway. That PII is popping up on the scanner again. That thing is crazy. NK, nothing there. That NNVC is popping up on the other scanner. Yeah, that thing's moving down. Just nothing else going on. A little frustrating. I mean, we are starting to look like we're in a little bit of an ascending triangle here. So if we can work our way back up towards 5, I actually feel fairly confident. But we have to actually get up there first. But we are making higher lows. So in a way it looks fairly decent, even though we're in the red at the moment. But again, it's going to do what it wants to do. So we put our money in where we felt that we had a high probability of it working. And so far it's not looking great, but we'll see what it wants to do. If it goes through this 485 area, the odds are we're going to get stopped out, though, because I saw all those shares sitting there. So if that gets eaten through, which it is, there it goes. We're sitting at 481. I didn't see our order there, though. It says it got to 481, but we didn't get stopped out. I'm interested with these range orders sometimes, because if you have just a single order in, it usually shows you the order on the montage, but in this case I didn't see it sitting there. Nice, Mr. Gifford. Nothing wrong with that. So it's looking like we're coming down here to 81. Oh, pop right back up. At this point, it's out of our hands, so all we can do is hope for like a little squeeze up through 90 and some kind of continuation squeeze to get up there back towards 5. Yeah, pretend monopoly money, but if you said you traded it regular sized, so that's key. A lot of people don't do that. They'll trade size that they shouldn't be trading and that they would never trade for real. I didn't even see this LAUR. I don't think it ever hit plus 20 on the intensity scanner. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it did. There's a couple guys from ISW that were in this. Not really something I would be interested in. I mean, I guess we got near 21 there. Looks like we're going to get stopped out here finally. Yep. So we got stopped out there on INO. The odds are this thing might continue down towards 70. Yep, there it goes. Let's see, what is it? 70? Okay. Yeah, freak. That's kind of what I had said. Part of me wants to take another stab at this. Kind of watching what it does here. I wanted it to kind of blow through this 475. It's trying right now. There it goes. Sorry, I had to jet out. Did you answer the CMEG question about your monthly fees are? I didn't see one. What do you dish out to CMEG every month in fees? Got you. For the broker fees, That would be 125 for the platform and the market data. Man, what a crappy morning. Not because I took the loss. I mean, I'm not actually upset with taking that loss. Just a little bit frustrated that there was just really not too much to play. As far with the trading fees, I mean, I guess that kind of varies depending on how much I trade that month. I mean, because commissions are going to vary depending on a lot of things. SDC long. I don't even see. What's the float on that? Not a bad float there. Not something. I mean, I see your play there, but it's definitely not something I would play. I'm still interested in INO. I want to see what it does at this 475 area. I was really expecting it to kind of get through that. Excuse me. All right, we're gonna take a stab at this, and we're just gonna use that 475 as our stop loss. So we'll put it at 474. We'll put the stop in there. This is kind of a right or right out type situation. We're gonna look for that 5 test. Got 80. So we went full size there. So to get our 1R, I mean, technically we don't need the 1R on this, so because we have such a small risk, we're not risking 1R. Well, technically, so we only need 17, so 97. I did it again. Hold on. So 497 is what we're looking for. Just put the range order in real quick. All right. So I like the risk reward on this one's pretty good. We're just kind of looking for this thing to come back up and test 5 to get our 1R at 497. But we're only risking 6 cents, so pretty happy. This is actually a little bit more 2 to 1. Like 612, closer to 3 to 1 actually. got shot right back down there towards 80. From the hackneyed saying department, flat is a position. That's very true. Yeah, this is probably going to be our last trade. I mean, there's really nothing else going on, and I'm not going to force any trades. The only reason I took this second trade is because you could see the obvious support forming there at 75, and there's still a lot of room to the upside. So basically a right or right out type trade. Risking 6 cents to make 17 to 18 cents. So it's not a bad trade in theory. Whether it wants to work or not is a different story, which we're about to see if it wants to or not. This is one of them ones where if I was using that strategy I was attempting to use last week or the week before, where you just keep adding and adding until you hit your max loss looking for the bounce, this would be a sucky one because this thing is not bouncing at all. Like, at all. I mean, we're not really asking for much out of it, right? We're not even asking for it to go through the whole dollar, which if you were using that old strategy, you would most likely need something higher. But we're not even asking for that. We're just asking for that silly 5-touch, but struggling. Hey, man, could you trade ARMP today long and short? Let's see. ARMP. Looks like we only had longs available, no shorts available, Alex. ADPT. Yeah, ADPT that's an interesting looking one. It's got a bit of a spread to it, 12 cents. It's doesn't really have any volume. Not really sure what you're looking at there, Mr. Gifford. It did get a little bit of an extension there when it got through 32, but not too much else going on with it. Big order stacking up there at 480. That's not good for us. But it could be good for anyone that's short looking to cover a big position, not looking to move the stock too much. That's why a lot of people see these huge orders stack up on, say, the ask, and you immediately assume that it's going to go down. Well, that's not always the case because there could be somebody that is short, say up from 550 that has large size. So when they see that, they realize that they can cover 25,000 of their shares and not really move the price. So that's kind of what you always have to keep that in mind. Yeah, I got you, Mr. Gifford. I was more so just looking at the setup of ADPT. I'm not really sure what you're looking at there. Are you looking to go long? Are you looking to go short? You also got now it's a 22-cent spread. So you're kind of dealing with a bunch of stuff there. So here's what I'm talking about with this large order sitting here at 480. If a big position wants to cover, but it looks like people are starting to stack in a little bit. But there you go. See, look, there's a huge cover, and it went right through. So it could be somebody with a big position size on the short side. They can cover all their shares at once instead of worrying about, hitting the market order and getting filled up through like 488 or something like that. So sometimes when you see those big orders and it doesn't just move the price right away, sometimes it could be a good thing because you might get a big order to cover into it. Or somebody might want to buy shares, right? Buy a big order of shares. The same difference. But just like anything else, we're learning. We're learning to accept the risk, right? I'm in this trade and I already made the trade. How it plays out is the key here, right? If it wants to play out and work for us, awesome. If it doesn't, then so be it. We accepted the risk. And I pat myself on the back with that. And I credit Mark Douglas a lot. I started watching some of his videos last night. I've skimmed through the book Trading in the Zone before, but I never really sat down and read it because I'm just not a reader. So I found some of his workshop videos on YouTube. You should go watch them. it will blow your mind. That's all I gotta say. It will just put your perspective of trading in a. It just changes it completely, and it's pretty awesome. It's a lot of stuff that I've thought of before, and I've been trying to implement it. However, it's one of those things where sometimes it's just hard to kind of catch yourself doing it. But when you start to hear it from someone such as Mark Douglas, you really then start to understand, okay, maybe I can do this. I just didn't know how to do it. And it really starts to kind of hone in on what you need to do to get to that point. JK, who was that? You talking about Mark Douglas? I can link you to, he has a 4-part series that I just started listening to. Let me try to find part number 1 real quick for you. There it is. Mr. Gifford, yep, ADP short happening. VWAP going to hold maybe. Gotcha, nice, man. Yeah, short's looking pretty good at this moment. Yeah, JK, it's a little bit longer. I think they're a little over an hour each, but it will make you, it'll change your perspective a little bit. That's all I gotta say. Famous or Dave, I'm not sure which one you want to go by, but what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome to the stream this morning. Taco Tuesday. By the way, if you're here and you are new, my name's Tim here at Volatility Trading. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way in or on the way out, whichever way you want to hit it. Just go ahead and hit that. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if your account is public, it should come through and give you a little volatility trading chip to throw into the tip jar, which I don't have up at the moment. I'll throw it up there just for a second. SQ extended, what you think? Let's take a look at SQ. SQ does indeed look extended. However, it's kind of grinding. Sort of like what INO is doing, but just in reverse. So you're getting these big pushes up, but then it just kind of consolidates. Big push up, consolidate. So let's take a look at it. So what I'm looking at here is we got that previous resistance. It went through, didn't really come down and test it. It kind of consolidated up here at that whole dollar. And then we pushed up again, up through 50, and it tried to come down and touch 50 again, but it didn't. It kind of consolidated up here, and now it's trying to do the same thing. But each time, as you can see, it is getting less and less. So it's starting to look like it might be ready for that retracement back down. Not really something I'd be interested in. I'm trying to stay away from plays that aren't off the scanners. When I got back in INO here, it was on the minus I3 scanner. It was kind of what brought me to my decision there. And it was just looking like 475 was a solid support area. So I was kind of combining the two together. And I knew we didn't really need much. We were risking very little, looking for a good amount in return. So that was the trade idea behind INO. But here with SQ, I'm not too sure I would be that interested in it. I feel like if we can get up towards 490, like we are attempting here, we might get a nice squeeze. Be nice to get a squeeze up towards 5. You can get through this 490 area. Not quite. Not really front running, not really doing anything. We set our risk here on this one. We're just going to let it go. Do have a nice little ascending pattern here. Hopefully everyone starts to see that. Hopefully we can get through this 490 area, go up there, test that $5 area, and take us out at 497. Be a nice little winner there. Being patient with it. Let's see, I think it's on this one. I can never, oh, it's on the full screen. There it is. I hate that I have to change to the full screen. I need to put that on the other ones as well. Here we go, testing 490 again. If we can get through 490 here, I think we're going to get a nice little pop. 490 is kind of holding resistance here. There we go, trying it again. Keeps getting rejected here at 490. Keeps trying it though. All we need is that one buyer or one short to cover at that 490. Look for, I don't see that order sitting there at 490 now. It looks like it might have fell out, or they took it down. Could have been a short since it's on SSR, trying to sit on the ass to get filled, but it is now gone. I think they're starting to realize that this might want to continue higher. So we'll see if we can test 490 again and see if those shares pop back up. See it? They're not there now. There we go, 493. All we need is that little bit of a pop up towards $5. And they're stacking in there at 493. This is all the shorts trying to front run $5 here because it's on SSR. So they're trying to get short, and to do that, you got to sit on the ask. So who knows, you know, again, with the level 2, a lot of it's liar's poker. Let's see if these orders stay. Remember, last time it was at 490 and it disappeared, so who knows if it's going to stay at 493. There it is. See if it falls out or if it stays. So far, it looks like it's staying. Just need this quick little burst through 493, and I think we'll get our fill at 497. This kind of looks like the only thing holding us back here. A little bit taken out. There we go. Looks like that order either fell through. There we go. See if we can get up to 494. Really nothing else sitting there. There we go again. There we go, 494. Inching our way up there. Just need that one little squeeze to try $5. Yeah, more on the ask. Didn't get the fill there on the ask. They're just trying again. We're gonna take it off there. I definitely got impatient, didn't follow my plan there, but I don't really want to risk this thing going all the way back down. I know that's stupid and I'm not accepting the risk fully, but we're literally on the ask. So I'm not gonna risk my 3-to-1 basically on, it was actually like 2.5-to-1 over a cent or two. So probably would have gotten the 497, but did not want to risk it. It did make a pretty decent struggle to get up to where it was, and we ended up break even. So I'm not gonna fret, right? We accepted our risk on this one, and we accepted our risk for the most part on this one. We just didn't quite get that fill at 497, so we ended up getting 494. So 3 cents, not gonna fret, and it looks like we might have been right, at least for now. How long do you want to sit in this trade to find out if it works? That's up to you, but I wasn't going to fret being that close. So we ended up being break even on the day, which is how it should be if you have one winner, one loser. And I'm pretty happy with it, right? We accepted the risk on the first one. We took our shares, put it right under their low a day, which was pretty much our 1R risk. And it was close enough. We realized that there was a huge support sitting there at 475. So we jumped back in knowing that we were just going to stop out. It was either a right or right out type trade there on INO at 474, and it tried to get back down there a couple times, but didn't, and it worked itself up, and we ended up getting our fill up there towards our target. So I'm pretty happy with the trade. I'm not gonna complain. SQ is definitely getting a little extended right now. Not really something I would be interested in playing at the moment. You want more? More? Can you say applesauce? Apple. Yummy, yummy. Kid, you're a terror. Take your eyes off that kid for 1 second. Giovanni, yeah, SSR, thank you, Mr. Gifford, for explaining. And it does look like we were right on that one, so yay, yay. It sucks that we literally got on the ask, but again, when you literally get 100% of what you were looking for, you just don't get filled. It's really not worth letting the trade go completely against you just to try to prove that you were right. CBLI. Yeah, that's on SSR as well. This PII. I mean, this is what I would be fearful of if you're in PII. Look at this thing. It rejected $100, looking like an ascending triangle. So how many people would have thought this is an ascending triangle, right? To me, I even would have thought this is ascending triangle, but this is why patterns are not the best. It literally went from $100 to 93 in, I don't know how fast it happened, but it's a pretty big move. MGen attempting to go high of day. A little bit of a lower floater. It's actually kind of interesting now that I'm thinking about it. If we want to go back to the INO chart just for a second, when I had first got into this trade at 495, I said I wanted my ad to be down towards that 470 area. And I even did the math, right? It was 477 was the ad I was looking for. Let me do the math again. 495 plus 477 divided by 2 puts us at 486. So we would have needed 17 cents from 486. So we never would have hit it anyway. So my point is invalid. Right? Because 17 cents would have been over $5. So we technically would actually still be in the trade. Anybody seen anything else? Thanks for your information on CMEG. I am under the PDT rule, and I think they are the best to grow a small $1,000 account. What's up, Kevin? First off, hello, welcome. I'm Tim, by the way, if you don't know my name. I don't recommend starting. I do recommend CMEG, but I don't recommend starting with $1,000. If there's anything that you could do, I would highly recommend trying to get that up to at least $2,500. That way you get your 6-to-1 margin, even though you shouldn't need it. But at the same time, $1,000 is just not that much. I mean, think of it this way. You start with $1,000 and you break even the first month. Well, at the end of that month, they're going to take out $125 for your platform fee. That is over 10% of your account. Like, really think about that. So I don't really recommend going that route. There's some gurus out there on YouTube that would say you could start with $500. And I mean, unless you have a bunch of $500 accounts to lose over and over again, there's no way. It's silly because you're going all in from the very first trade. What happens if you lose that first trade? And you're done. And they fail to tell you that. So Mr. Gifford has a solid point. I don't recommend TradeNet at all just because of the way they operate. But what you could do is use a cash account on one of the U.S. platforms. So by using a cash account, you do have to wait for your funds to settle. But if you're trading small enough, whether it be on like TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, wherever it may be, you don't have to worry about all the platform fees, the commissions, all that good stuff. So you can really get started not having to worry about over 10% of your account coming out at the end of the month. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm just trying to help out. Obviously, do your due diligence and do what you think's best. But just from a personal perspective, I don't think starting with $1,000 with the CMEG account is the right way to go, especially if you're just starting. Yep, Mr. Gifford makes a good point too. Webull does have free charting. TDA has free charting. Well, they do for now. They're trying to get rid of it. And yeah, you can use FinViz scanners as well. All good options when you're first starting out. And it does look like if we would have accepted our risk and really held true to just like say we walked away from the computer after setting that range order, it looks like we might be getting that test of 5 here. So we may have shortchanged ourselves 3 cents. Because now it's starting to look like we're making higher lows. We're in a nice ascending pattern here. But, I mean, looking at this chart, I'm not that upset. Looking that we literally top ticked it and didn't get filled, so. They're sitting right at where we got filled at 494. PLG. Not really sure. So PLG's kind of moving on no volume. It's on SSR. I have no shares there. A little bit of a lower float. NH is the other one. It's starting to curl up. That actually does have a lot of volume. It's a lower float, but it's not really moving too much. It's moving more like a penny stock, if anything. Tim, what does TradeNet do that worries you? I mean, they don't use real stocks, LOL, but what else? So I don't usually like to bring it up too much, but if you guys remember when Patrick Wieland went after TradeNet, there was a lot of information that came out during that whole debacle, and it's scary to think that they could be operating that way, especially when it makes no sense knowing that Mir is not trading real money. Like, he's basically trading a demo account because it's kind of like false advertisement in a way. So, and think of it this way. Who in their right mind is going to give someone access to, we'll say $700, because if you get the starter account, you're paying $500 or whatever it is. And that's the other thing too. So, but they're giving you up to $700 to lose. So if you can lose $700, but say you get that account on sale for $350, you're telling me that someone's just willing to give you 2x your money? It makes no sense, right? But they can do it because the money that they're giving you is basically monopoly money to them. And they're basically banking on the fact that you're going to lose that $700, which in reality, they're not losing $700 because it's monopoly money to them. It's all CFD type stuff, which they are controlling on the back end. So if that's the case, then when you finally lose that $700, technically they just made your $350, $400, $500, whatever you paid to get the account. And that's how that's working. So to me, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a proper brokerage to use because it's just shady. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. It's just very shady how they operate, and to me, it's not legitimate. So, gotcha. Well, I basically just told you the gist of it. And if you really want to look into it, you can. But I mean, there's other things behind it, but I'm just not. I don't want to sit here and get into it. It's not really something that I like to do on my channel anyway. I don't really like to bash other traders and get into that kind of drama type stuff. But again, if someone asks me a question and they mean it seriously, I'm going to give them the answer. So hopefully that was a good enough answer to let you know why I don't really recommend TradeNet. I'm more so just watching INO here to see if it would have gave us our target at 497, and then I'm most likely going to get out of here. There's nothing else going on. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to chime in. But once this thing either dumps back down below this pivot point of 482 or goes up and hits us at 497, that's when I'm most likely going to get out of here. Just kind of seeing what it wants to do. It's pretty much time to get going anyways. Again, if you watch my video from yesterday, I posted a little bit later. Let me know what you think. I have somebody that's editing the videos for me right now, so I'm curious to what your thoughts are and to see maybe what direction you guys would like to see the videos go in, so that we can kind of work together. Oh, there's that pop to 495. Went through that 494 area. That was holding it down. And yeah, just let me know. It was your discussion on SureTrader that drew me here originally. Which one? Which discussion? Because, yeah, SureTrader was another one. They were no different in 494 trying to hold it down again. Big order popped in there. Somebody's trying to get short here. Yeah. Mr. Gifford speaks the truth. He spits out the facts. I do know some stuff. I've been through the ringer just a little. I've only been here for about 1.5 years, but I've been through a lot already. And I don't speak about TradeNet negatively just from hearsay. I actually won a TradeNet account back in the day, and I did use it. And just the way that their spread works, the way that the fees that they charge you, and like there's just a lot to the way that they run things over there that just are not my favorite. And this person's really trying to get short here. He's dropping his bid, or he's dropping his ass down as it goes. I always wonder how they do that. It has to be some kind of like automation type thing. So like if it drops down, it cancels their old order that was at 493 and drops it to 492. Like they have to have some kind of algorithm doing that for them, I would think. Oh, yeah. I told you guys when SureTrader closed for that week when they got suspended that there was something bigger going on. And sure enough, they ended up closing their doors. The reason that they came back up, in my opinion, was so that they could, exit and kind of basically like exit on their terms. Like when somebody in Congress or something like that gets caught, you'll see a lot of them step down because they're given the option to step down instead of fighting it and, going to prison and all that good stuff. Like you see it in TV shows all the time. And I always say a lot of these TV shows are based on, things that happen in real life, because it's hard to come up with some of that stuff. A lot of people will tell you all the times when they're telling you a story, I can't make this stuff up. And it's true. And I find that a lot of these things, it's so far-fetched that you would never think it's true. But a lot of times it is true. And it's crazy to think about. Hey, Tim, I just got approved for CMEG account. Now I'm reading how to fund it. Got some problems. How to wire the money to them. Can I use Bank of America? Yes. That's actually how I funded my account, through Bank of America. Just go to the bank, or let me see what else you said. And can I do it over the platform, or you have to go into the bank? They give you a piece of paper that they email you. No, I don't have any videos on it. Not a bad idea though. Literally all you do, they send you an email with how to wire funds. It's basically a one-sheet piece of paper. Print it out, take that to the bank, and that's it. You hand that to them and say, I need to wire funds to here, and they will be able to do the rest for you. It's really easy. Ben, just to answer on behalf of myself, it only took me 3 days when I first signed up from initial email to having funds in my account. So if you went to do it now, you could be ready hopefully by the first of the month. And we're at 496, 497. We would have got our fill, guys. Maybe. I need to see 498 first to guarantee it. Still no guarantee. Still no guarantee. Oh, they're stacking up. We would have got our 3 cents. We would have just had to wait through all of this. I feel like we would have got filled when it almost got taken out there, because we would have still been sitting there from before. Yep, the paper, Alex. That's all you got to do is take that to the bank. But yeah, as long as you keep up with it, and there it is, 498. So we would have got our fill there. A little unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're not gonna dread about that, because we would have had to wait through all this. But again, now I have. This is another thing. Let me show you guys. Actually, we're going to do this real quick live, and then I'll get out of here. I'm going to export my trades. January 28th.csv. I also did notice if you are importing into TraderSync, if you type .csv at the end, you don't have that problem I had the one time when I was trying to do it live. Let's go to full screen here. Add trade. Choose file. Trades. January 28th. Open. Import. 2 trades. All right. So what I'm doing is when I go into these and I put my commissions in, which I'll do real quick, I'm also going down here and putting in how many entries it was and whether I followed my plan or not. So technically I did not follow my plan on this one. So I cheat myself out of 3 cents. So when I go back, I can pull up all these trades and I can then pull them up and I can start to look at how much money my plan would have made versus how much money I actually made, if that makes sense. And it's a big deal. A lot of people don't understand how big of a deal that is. So like on this one, I lost, and it was 2 entries, but I did follow my plan, which is actually the first time I followed my plan, which I only started this yesterday, but oops. So there we go. So I'm happy that I followed the plan on the one. Obviously, if we would have followed the plan on the other one, it might have actually, what's 3 and 3, so 450. So we actually would have ended up closer to break even on after commissions, but obviously not gonna worry about that. We're still figuring this all out. But I'm pretty happy with how that all played out. So Tim, what was your total short where to where? Yep, no problem, Alex. It's not easy using smaller banks because they use a second bank, so it complicates things. But yes, that is true, Mr. Gifford. Well, Ben, you can fund the account. Just tell them in the email that you don't want the account to be activated until the 1st. So you can do that. I've actually done that. When I took my break in June, when I took that big loss on MTSI and I took a month off, I told them because I had to add funds, and I said, okay, look, I'm going to add funds, but I don't want the account to be activated until July 1st. And that's what they did. So the short, I never took a short, Mr. Gifford. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. But yeah, and with the smaller banks, they have what's called an intermediary bank on that piece of paper that you print out. If they have to use that, they can, if it's a smaller bank. So they should be okay with that. Hey man, last question. Do I have to send the confirmation paper or whatever they'll give me at the bank to CMEG, and fees are $35, right? CMEG does not charge you a fee for the wire going in to your account. They only charge you when you withdraw from the account. However, it's whatever your bank charges you to send the wire. And no, you do not have to send them the confirmation paper. I would just send them an email letting them know that you sent the funds so that they know they're on the way and they can look for them. However, you don't have to send them a paper or anything. They should know where it's coming from, because on the wire itself, you're going to put in the account number for your account with CMEG. Sorry, he just hit me with a wet hand, so I'll be right back. What did you do? Yeah, I see it. What did you do? Oh yes, Gaston, wait outside. Well, I think we can bend the rules just this once.
How was training? It was amazing. It's jolly, but Gaston got happy.
Yes, completely trained. He does everything I say.
Really?
What did I just tell you?
He can even fetch insurance.
Goodness. Are you sure?
Oh yes. Gaston, fetch the Queen's slippers, please. Boy, Gaston.
Leave that alone.
My slippers.
What's gone wrong?
Careful.
He was trained a minute ago.
But Daddy, that's Johnny's rule.
Go ahead, slide down. They took 15 from you, Thomas? I feel like when I don't remember that. I mean, you might be right. It's been a while since I did it. Oh man, look at that 5 pop. Right. Oh, it actually went right to that line right there, that previous resistance. What's wrong, bud? All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate you all stopping by. Don't forget that the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget the little post notification bell as well, so that you guys will know when I go live and when I post a new video. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below, and I will answer them as promptly as I can. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the live stream. Peace.